Be sure to subscribe to Viral now and click the bell so you'll never miss an upload of ours. Hi there everyone, my name is Jeremy Jameson, here today with 10 adult jokes in popular cartoons and a couple of live-action productions. All of these shows or films we're looking at are targeted at children. With that said, when we're young and watching them, sometimes jokes will go over our heads. This seems to be a popular practice, as in a variety of shows with different writers and animators, we can find these jokes that you'll only notice or maybe even understand if you're older. Let's take a look. Accident Child, Powerpuff Girls Season 4, Episode 7, Super Friends. In this episode of the Powerpuff Girls, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup hear a noise outside early in the morning. They notice a truck from a moving company. When getting closer to investigate, they see that a girl is a part of the new family moving in. The Powerpuff Girls introduce themselves to Robin Schneider. They all become friends quite quickly. Robin eventually learns that her new friends have superpowers. But what we're here to look at is when Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup bring Robin to their home, they introduce her to their quote-unquote dad, Professor Utonium. In reality, the professor created the girls by accident with Chemical X, spawning the 3 Supergirls.
Why, hello there, Robin. It's very nice to have you as our new neighbor. I'm the professor.
Yeah, he made us in his laboratory by accident.
Well, what can I say?
Don't worry, Professor. I was an accident too.
The joke here is that, as once again the Powerpuff Girls were made by a professor in a scientific lab from a chemical by accident, Robin was created by her parents on accident, meaning they did not plan to have her. She came to be after her parents engaged in explicit adult activities, I'll say.
Your dad is funny.
Father Portrait, 3 Little Pigs by Disney. In this 1933 animated short film classic, it follows the story of 3 pig brothers who are all tasked with building their own homes. I'm sure you all know the story of how one of the pigs builds his home out of straw, another out of sticks, and finally one out of bricks. A big bad wolf comes to blow their homes down. Well, at the end of the story, after the straw and stick homes are blown away by the wolf, the pigs are all together, safe in the brick house. To celebrate, they have a silly symphony, all singing along together joyfully, as the big bad wolf is not able to blow down their brick home. On the wall in the home, though, is a portrait of their father. The joke here is that the father was killed and processed into meat links. So to remember them, they framed the meat on the wall. Dark humor, especially for Disney, but this was made in the 1930s, and it's pretty funny, I'd say. Multiplier, Looney Tunes Easter Yeggs. In this short animated film, Bugs Bunny is asked to help the Easter Bunny deliver eggs for him as the Easter Bunny's feet are sore. In the beginning of the short, Bugs Bunny is seen with some reading material. The book is about how to multiply, which the kids may come off as Bugs Bunny just trying to learn some math. But it's a joke about mating. Bugs Bunny is learning about the process in which he can create more bunnies. Not since Woodstock. Hey Arnold, Season 4, Episode 8. Back to School. Arnold, the main character in this episode, discovers that his grandfather never graduated grade school. So he confronts his grandfather and encourages him to go back to school in order to get his diploma. When the grandpa first hears the idea, he responded by saying he doesn't have enough brain cells, but it's not due to his age, it's due to a certain event.
Couldn't you go back to school?
Oh, I can't do that, Arnold. I'm too old. I've lost too many brain cells to make it through grade school.
You're not too old, Grandpa, and you've still got plenty of brain cells.
No, not since Woodstock.
So to explain this joke, Woodstock was a musical festival that took place in the summer of 1969. It was a massive event, having over 400,000 people in attendance during the entire weekend. Famous artists such as Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and the band Sly and the Family Stone were there to perform, as well as many others. Now at Woodstock, many of the audience attendees took copious amounts of drugs, being constantly high during all the performances. 1969 was at the height of the hippie craze, which included heavy drug usage and promoted it. So the joke is that the grandpa must have participated in doing a lot of the illicit substances, affecting his brain in the long term. Visible Genius. SpongeBob SquarePants Season 1 Episode 18A, Texas. A classic episode from the debut season. Sandy Cheeks, friend of SpongeBob and Patrick, has been living in Bikini Bottom for some time, but she becomes homesick, missing Texas, where her squirrel self is from. So Patrick and SpongeBob blindfold Sandy and take her to her treat home, thinking that's what she means by feeling homesick. She then starts crying and singing the blues. After the sad song, Patrick says that they should bring Texas down to Bikini Bottom to make it feel like home. SpongeBob responds by saying this:
She really misses Texas.
Well, let's go get some Texas and bring it down here.
Patrick, you can't. That's it. Patrick, your genius is showing.
Where?
The joke here is that Patrick thought that his genius meant his privates. He thought that his shorts had a bit of a malfunction and his genius was showing. Dusty Prince, Animaniacs, Season 1, Episode 25. This series follows the Warner siblings who go throughout time and spoof many famous things in pop culture. In this clip, Dot Warner is dusting for fingerprints, but she gets confused and instead finds someone.
I found prints!
No, fingerprints.
I don't think so.
The joke here is that she confused a famous pop star who became very famous in the 1980s with fingerprints, as they sound very similar to each other. Fingerprints, Prince, the singer, you get it. Shaggy loves her name. Scooby-Doo, the 2002 film. This is the first live-action Scooby-Doo film, based off of the well-known animated series, Scooby-Doo. Following a group known as Mystery Inc., who investigate crimes to discover who committed them, at one point in this film adaptation, the character Shaggy is on an airplane. The girl he is seated by is eating dog treats. Shaggy gets excited by saying he loves them too, and they introduce themselves to each other.
Boy, oh boy. Those sure do look like Scooby snacks.
I know they're for dogs. They're 100% vegetarian, and I love them.
Like me too.
Sorry for pausing here, just make sure to pay attention to the girl's name, as, well, I personally thought this was a reference to Spider-Man's love interest when I was younger, but no, that's not the case.
Far out! I have never met another person who loves Scooby snacks.
Me neither.
I'm Mary Jane.
Like that is my favorite name.
Really?
Yeah.
Mary Jane is the girl's name. The joke here is that Mary Jane is a nickname for marijuana, aka weed. Shaggy has always thought to be a stoner character based on his appearance and saying things like far out often. Shaggy loves Mary Jane, meaning he loves marijuana. Television channel, Rocko's Modern Life, Season 1, Episode 1B, Who Gives a Buck? Rocko and Heifer are watching television when Heifer asks if they can watch something different on television. Rocko responds by saying he doesn't have any money and can't afford any other channels besides the one they're watching.
What? The all-Scottish show? Why are we watching a 24-hour bagpipe station?
TV's on the fritz, so my lava lamp will pick up.
Sick cats sound better than that. You should get a new TV.
Can't afford it. As long as the lava lamp holds out, this will have to do.
The All Scottish Show is the only channel they have. If you look at the first letter of each of the words, All Scottish Show, they spell out an alternative name for someone's behind. Horoscope, from Full House, Season 4, Episode 6, A Pinch for a Pinch. In this episode, the character Kimmy Gibbler, best friend of DJ Tanner, becomes the head of the horoscope section in her school's newspaper. A horoscope being a forecast of a person's future, typically including a delineation of character and circumstances, based on the relative positions of the stars and planets at the time of that person's birth. Kimmy Gibbler decides to write a horoscope for the astrological sign that Stephanie Tanner has, little sister of DJ. After Stephanie reads the horoscope targeted at her, what she doesn't realize is that Kimmy played a prank by making sure everything that was written in the horoscope column directly happens to Stephanie, causing her to become scared and wearing a hockey mask. So here's the joke that Stephanie makes upon first learning about Kimmy's horoscope section in the school newspaper.
Check out my new column, Madame Kimmy's Horoscope. Oh, if the words are too big for you to read, you can always color on it.
Horoscope? What's that, Kimmy? A telescope that can only see your face?
The joke here is a play on words, Stephanie meaning that Kimmy's appearance is horrific, hence the horror, and the scope coming into play by mentioning a telescope that can only see Kimmy due to her horror. Sometimes people mistake this to be a much dirtier joke, which you can interpret what I'm meaning there, but that is not the case. That's not the actual intent behind this joke. Waiting for the next train. Blue Cat Blues, Tom and Jerry. This 1956 one-reel animated Tom and Jerry cartoon is incredibly dark. To summarize what happens, it's about how both of them have love troubles. At one point, Tom is shown drinking a lot of milk to drown his sorrows, representing how some people drink alcohol in large amounts to suppress their sorrows. The part we're looking at is at the very end of this animated reel, when the two of them think they're hopeless in terms of their love life, so they are seen sitting together on the train tracks. The final shot of them is sitting on the train tracks as we hear an oncoming train. Then it fades out to the end card, and then the episode is over. Tom and Jerry waited for the train on the tracks to run them over. They committed suicide, all because they had problems with love. Now, while this isn't exactly a joke, of course they don't explicitly show what happens, and I remember as a kid seeing this and not putting that connection together, that's what they were doing, but I thought it would be fitting to point that out here in this video. Thank you for watching. For Viral Now, I'm Jeremy Jameson, wishing you to have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.